M. Fletcher Brown with another artist video blog at kicks96country.com. Our guest today all the way from Nashville, Tennessee by way of the Pacific Northwest, all the way out in Seattle, Washington. Please welcome for the very first time to Kicks 96, Darin Jones. How are you, man?
Howdy, Fletch. Good to see you, my friend.
Darin, we've had, just off camera, we've been talking about a lot of different things.
Some of them we can't mention.
Some of the things we can't, you're right, some of those things we can't talk about. But one of the things that we talked about, and I can't express how excited that I am about the Pacific Northwest. I have family out there. It's beautiful country out there. You're from Washington State, Seattle. Are you actually from Seattle proper or the suburb of Seattle? Like, tell us a little bit about where you come from.
Born and raised Tacoma, Washington.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. The year was 1985.
Little Darin first saw a guitar.
I wasn't quite little. I was like a 10-pound, 2-ounce baby. Mama had to get a C-section, and she's never let me forget ever since.
Oh, good for you, Mom. Good for you. All right. Well, your story with music. I mean, did your life begin with music? I mean, from day one, or was that something that you found kind of by accident later on?
My grandfather was the man who got me into music. He's from New York City. He sings like a bird. He does a lot of the old doo-wop stuff, Billy Joel, Elton John, Beatles. So I grew up around a real plethora of music, and I amalgamated all of that upbringing into what I do now. Mm-hmm. But he tried his darndest to get me into music, and I wasn't having none of it. Mm-hmm. He gave me my first acoustic when I was like 15, and showed me a couple chords, and I never really took to it. It wasn't really a passion. And then when I was 24, I had just gotten out of a bad breakup, and I was living in Salt Lake City, Utah at this time.
Okay.
And in order to get out of the house and kind of, just get out and feel better, I started singing karaoke music. And from there, I progressed and found my best friend to this day, Mr. Taylor Nada, who I've wrote many songs with. And we started a country band. 6 weeks later, I sold everything I had, moved to Nashville, Tennessee.
Absolutely. All right, so why country? I mean, what was it about country that... Did you feel, because you said your grandfather sang like doo-wop, like everything from the Beatles to Billy Joel. What drew you to country?
He played a little bit of country growing up, John Denver, and country roads, mm-hmm. And that was my idea of what country was. We didn't listen to a whole lot of country. There's a lot of other things. I can trace back to a single night what got me to want to do country music, though. I was my best friend Taylor Nada. I had just met him. We were in Salt Lake, and he had a bar gig at some biker bar in Ogden, Utah. And he says, "Come on, man, let's go out." And I said, "Cool, let's do it." And during that night, he played "Can't You See" by Marshall Tucker Band.
Oh yes.
And that song spoke to my soul, and I was like, "That's what I want to do." Even though it's more like Southern rock, but. Something about that spoke to me, and that's where I could trace it all back to. I said, I want to do that. I want to play songs that make me feel like that. It was very cathartic and expressive, and it's just the way that they, like emotive, the way that they played it and sang it. It's like, oh man, that feels good.
Well, Waylon's got a version of Can't You See?
He does.
And
I like me some Waylon.
I play them both. That's just me.
Yeah.
But they're two, the same song, but they're two really, really very different songs. But yeah, Marshall Tucker is a good one. So you packed up and you moved to Nashville, and
way before I should have.
That was going to be my question. Is like, when you got to Nashville, being not a stranger to music, but relatively new to the country genre, what did you find was, like you said, John Denver was what I knew of country. What did you learn that you didn't realize you didn't know yet when you got to Nashville?
How much I didn't know. That's what, and that I needed to bone up quick. I started quite late. I was 24 when I first started playing and singing. Mm-hmm. So, and it was 9 years ago now. So I was late to the party, so to speak, and I knew that I needed to backdate the whole country catalog. I needed to get into Waylon and Johnny Cash and Merle Haggard and Hank Jr., even go back farther to Hank Garland and Hank Sr. and Johnny Pride and all these great names that have the classics, and it was a real schooling process for several years, and it still is to this day. I'm still amazed at how many songs I come across that I've never heard before that really impact me to this very day.
So now you're writing your own song. I'm seeing you and Taylor are still really good friends.
Yeah.
Are you guys still writing together?
All the time. I have a few other friends. One of my other good buddies, Josh Matheny, out of Nashville. Phenomenal dobro player. He was all over my record, just spitting some nasty licks on the dobro. Mm-hmm. But I write songs with him and a few other close friends. I'm not one of those writers that goes and avidly seeks out a bunch of new people to write with. I have my core group of 3 or 4 people that I write with real regularly. Big John Cannon from the Lowdown Drifters is another one of them.
Okay,
Yeah.
so well, let's talk about the album then. You're 2 singles in. Your current single, "Done Is Done." What is that?
That is a song that really. So I had 12 songs on my album. That was the only one that I wrote and recorded the same day in the studio, and that one was basically a song that evidenced that time of my life, which was just a year and a half ago. About I was in the midst of my previous band breaking up and dispersing, and everybody was kind of giving up the ghost, so to speak. And I was in a real place where I'm like, do I quit and hang them up and go do something else, or do I double down and keep going? And I said, hell no, I'm doubling down. I'm keeping going.
Absolutely.
So the lyrics of "Done Is Done," is I know it won't be the same. It still hurts when I hear your name. That was about my other bandmate, that I was with. That we were in the trenches taking grenades together, so to speak, for 5 years all across the country.
Well, band is like a family.
And in other ways, it's even more so because you're really spending a lot of time and money and energy together, and the emotional factors that go into it with you're playing on stage, and that's a very special thing when you play music with somebody on stage. So it really hurt when he said, man, I got to hang him up and, I got to stop. And I decided I'm going to keep going. So that song had to do with my resolve for being the last man standing, and musically speaking, and hopefully in a lot of other ways too.
So "Done Is Done" is a deeply personal song.
It is, very much so. Yeah, that was one that was all about my life and my mentality at that time, and still to this day, really.
Okay. Well, look forward to hearing "Done Is Done," and hopefully we can get them to play a live version of it here on our channel. And if folks want to find you and your music online, where do they look? Do you have a website and social
Indeed.
media?
I have www.lastmenstanding.com. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook is all Darin Jones Music. So DarinJones.
All right. The single is "Done Is Done." You want to hear it? Call us at Kicks 96. We'll happily play it for you. And find "Last Man Standing."
Today I'm the last man standing in the
I think it's just a cool website. I mean,
yeah. Well, I tried buying "Last Man Standing," but the TV show.
I was going to say.
Yeah, and I still had to pay a lot for "Last Men Standing." Believe it or not. Yeah.
Oh man.
You know how it goes.
Oh yeah, I do. Well, lastmenstanding.com. Go find Darin Jones and look for a live performance of him elsewhere on our channel. Darin, thanks so much for visiting.
My friend, thank you for having me.
And make sure you come back, okay?
I will.
And we'll see you next time on another artist video blog, Kicks96country.com.